All right, guys, what's happening? It is Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk about making you your first priority. I got some announcements to make, some things to share, some things going on. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life. And then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you and happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Everybody's excited, I'm sure, to be halfway through another week here. So this morning, we're going to talk about how to make you your first priority and, some things to share here this morning. This topic was spurred by, some things that are going on in my own life, trying to make some changes in my own life and, trying to make myself a priority so that I can serve others at a higher level, right? And so I think that's an important conversation for us to be able to have. And for a lot of people, it's a difficult thing to do that, right? Because it has this feeling of being selfish, of not serving, of being opposite of sometimes what we preach. But the reality is this, guys, if you don't take care of yourself, if you are not making yourself a priority, then you will not be able to serve other people at the same level, right? And so we're going to dig into that this morning. But as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening, Ed? Good morning, Jared, Tammy Clark, my girl, Daniel Good over on YouTube, Trudy. Good morning to you, Carla, Curtis, Ryan Austin, and Rick. Good morning to you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. So first, just let me tell you this. Across all platforms, this podcast is really, it's really taking off. And that is because of you guys, right? It's because you guys are joining every single morning. You're watching live. You're listening on the podcast. You're subscribed on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or wherever it is. And you're sending those episodes to other people, which is extremely, I'm extremely grateful for that. And it's extremely powerful to be able to share those things that impacted you with other people. And so I think that it is extremely powerful for us as a group, the people that come here every single morning, to be able to introduce other people to this show and to watch that interaction of really a community being built around the idea of this podcast. And so now it's thousands and thousands and thousands of people every single week that are watching, downloading, checking it out on YouTube, whatever it may be. All the platforms get so much activity that's connected to this podcast. And so it's really important to me to tell you guys that and to show gratitude for all the people that you guys have connected to this show and to the messages that we deliver here every single morning. And we continue to build on this, right? So this month I am working on evolving this. I actually booked the first guest for the second version of this podcast. So instead of just the morning monologues, we'll also have lengthy interviews that introduce you guys to some powerful people in the world. And they're going to talk about their perspectives and how their perspective and mindset and things like that got them to the level that they are at. And we're going to continue to bring on great people with great stories that will inspire you guys. So I just wanted to start off by saying, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everything that you're doing. And all the shares, all the, connecting people to the podcast, sharing those episodes, commenting, tagging people in the comments that you think this show could benefit. It means the world to me. So thank you guys for that. Second thing is the time of the show is going to shift just a half an hour back. So we're going to start doing this at 8 a.m. Eastern, which I know that all the people on the West Coast will be extremely happy about. They get an extra half an hour maybe to do something else before they jump on here at 4:30 in the morning. You can jump on here at 5 o'clock in the morning now. And the reason for that is this, guys, just to be fully transparent. When I started this show, I would wake up in the morning and I would, kind of do my thing, do my routine. And, I would, then start the podcast. It was kind of like, I just kind of made sense step by step. It led into 7:30 and I would sit in front of this computer. And so in January, I committed to, starting to do Breakfast with Champions. So that got me up even earlier than I was getting up before. And I started to realize the power of getting up early and like all the things that I could accomplish first thing in the morning. And so my morning routine became more and more and more, right? I started to figure out like, man, I could get a lot done that really had a lot of benefits to me and had a lot of benefits to other people before anybody else really got started with their day. And so what's happened now is that, I've started to pack so many things into the morning that it's become more difficult for me to get here to the office and be sitting in front of this computer at 7:30. And so some of the technical difficulties that we have, things like that, those things are fairly normal actually, but you guys experience those, and maybe it's a few minutes late here and there because I have packed so much in that I'm getting here, and not having enough time to really solve those things before it's time to go live. And so I'm going to bump the time back to 8 a.m. And the reason for that is I am trying to take better care of myself in the morning. So I'm trying to get to the gym every single day. That takes some time, be able to get here, write down my goals, do all the things that I tell you guys are super important, and do that with the right frame of mind, right? Where I'm not rushing through things. And so sometimes what we have to do is mold the activities around some of the things that are actually working for us. And so I think it's really important for all of you to think about some of those things. And sometimes the things that we hold on to the most, it took me a long time. I had some level of guilt about changing that time from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. I had, some level of overanalyzation, like, are some of the people that tune in every morning going to be disappointed because they can't, tune in live anymore because maybe they're going to be at work or they're going to be at a different place. I didn't really want to change the time. But I also have to think about like, what am I doing if I am not practicing what I'm preaching, right? If I'm not putting myself first so that I can serve you guys at a higher level, then I am really a hypocrite, and I don't really want to be one of those. So we're going to change the time from 7:30 to 8. And I challenge you guys this morning, to think about some of those things in your life, maybe that you've been holding on to, or that you've been overthinking with regard to, how you can get better. And so for me, that was the thing that really drove me, is I thought to myself, like, I'm taking 15 minutes, 20 minutes past 8 o'clock. And I'm going to use that time to do this show as opposed to, 7:30 to 7:50 or whatever that is. But I'm able to create far more rhythm and far more peace in my morning as a result of shifting that time. And so as I started thinking about it, it made more and more and more sense for me to just shift that back a half an hour. And if there are people that, are unable to join at 8 o'clock, that typically we're here at 7:30, man, I apologize for, having to shift that time. But I do believe that it's what's best for my future and for the future of all the people that interact with me on a daily basis. And, if you can't catch it live, then you obviously can shift over to the podcast or shift over to YouTube. You can watch it on replay. And we appreciate you just as much if you can't make it live as if you do. So that's that on the topic of shifting those things. And then on the interview side of things, we're going to do those pre-recorded. So those I don't believe will be broadcast live. If they are broadcast live, they're going to be exclusively on YouTube because, we're trying to drive some attention over to the YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff going on there. We've got a lot of wheels in motion with regard to the things that we're starting to put out. With that said, this allows me, guys, to put in more thought, more work, more intentionality, have more time to think. And I believe that that will level up the content to a whole new level of what we're doing. So there will be some very detailed things rolling out to you guys that you'll be able to consume and hopefully implement into your own lives and share with other people with regard to, how do you actually change your perspective? I think we talk a lot about that in the morning, but to do a tactical process, that you can actually take a step-by-step walkthrough on how do you change, the way that you look at things. How do you actually do it? And I'm working hard on that right now because that is what has led me to this point, right? It's what's led me to be able to wake up every day and just be so grateful and so fulfilled in everything that I get to do and the people that I get to do it with and interacting with you guys here. But that all starts, going back to the title of this show this morning, that all starts with being able to put yourself first. And that's a really uncomfortable thing for a lot of people to do, right? It's uncomfortable for us to be selfish in some way. But when you have the right perspective and you realize that by being selfish, you're actually serving others at a higher level. When you take care of yourself first, you're able to pour into others more and better. That allows you to be able to make those decisions. And so I think it's really, really important for us to look at those things. To be fully transparent, fitness has been something that I've struggled to get into my schedule. As I've put it into my morning routine now, and I've been to the gym for, several weeks plus now, every single day, it has changed the way that I feel every single day. It's changed the way that I'm able to show up. And so that is important to me. It's important to me to be healthy for my kids, to set a good example of going to the gym and being disciplined at that level. And so I want you guys to think about that in your own life. And what is it that you need to put yourself first on in order to be able to show up at a higher level for other people? And so those decisions, as I've mentioned, are not always easy. Sometimes I think we all overthink a lot of things. But as you start to break through those things and you start to realize that, there's a reason when you step onto an airplane that they tell you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before serving others. And the reason for that is that you are unable to serve others at the level that God intended you to, unless you are actually taking care of yourself, unless you are really putting yourself first. If you're not pouring into yourself, if you're not reading books, consuming content, communicating with high-level people so that you can pass that information along to others, then you will not be able to serve others. And so it is really important for us to evaluate some of those things that we are maybe too selfless with. And I know that's a difficult statement probably to process, but as you think about it, I think it will make more sense. And it's extremely difficult. And you have to be able to prioritize those things in order to serve people at the very highest level. And, sometimes that leads to, some things happening that might not be ideal. But at the end of the day, if you can know that you're doing it for the right reasons and that you are doing it to improve yourself and to improve others and to make an impact, and, you can look yourself in the mirror, that is what is most important. And I know for me, that has been a long time struggle of really putting other people in a lot of cases before myself. And, I still do that and I still will continue to. But I think it's really, really important for us to realize that doing that for too long a period of time, or doing that for things that maybe you shouldn't, can be, something that really reduces your impact, really reduces your ability to serve other people. And so I hope you guys can understand. I hope that everybody makes the trip. I hope everybody, does something useful with that half an hour from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and that you guys all still show up here at 8 a.m. Eastern every single morning to share this with me. So, but that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you being here. And starting tomorrow, I will see you at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, and I will be prepared and on fire at 8 a.m. every single day. And I love doing this with you guys. I love hanging out with you guys every single morning. I love seeing the comments and the people that meet each other. I got Keith Calloway and Bob Bernard, two very important people in my life, commenting back and forth and talking to each other in the comments here this morning. I've got Ryan Austin and his mom on here all the time. Just everybody here has become, like a family. Everybody communicates and gets to know each other, and then they get to meet in person, and it's just really cool. And by the way, I'll just throw this out there as just a little extra special gift this morning. We are going to be doing some in-person events or meetups or things like that for the perspective side of things. So, we've got the contractor stuff going on, but coming soon, you will see some events and some meetups and some things that we can do that will create more community around this group, right? So you don't have to feel like you're a contractor to fit in here. And we want to be able to bring the contractors and everybody else and everybody together into one big giant community of people who are trying to make an impact in this world. And that's what we're here for. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks.